Gamers, welcome to the channel. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I have a new and interesting one for you, going over some feedback and thoughts and opinions on this post that the Uncapped Games team has recently put out for Battle Aces in their Reddit page. So if you're interested in checking this out, I'll leave a link in the description to this. Feel free to go check it out, read through it all, and even give them some of your own thoughts and opinions as well. I'm going to give you guys some of my thoughts as we go along here. I'm going to read this out and go over some of the responses that have already been posted here by the community. And so I'm just going to go over some of those and give you my thoughts and opinions on those, and kind of a thumbs up, thumbs down type of thing, and we'll go from there. And there's a lot to go through here. A lot of people have already responded, so I'm going to kind of try to just read as much as I can, but I won't be able to get through all of it. So again, feel free to go check all this out for yourself. And then I'll probably tomorrow go over some of my own personal thoughts and opinions and suggestions, and then maybe even write up my own reply to this post as well, and maybe kind of just go over and cover all that. So that's the idea and the plan here. So let's just get into it here. So let's start with the post here from Uncapped Games official here. They say, "What would you like to see improved? Just gathering feedback from all you awesome Battle Aces out there. What quality of life improvements would you like to see made in the future? Whether it's UI improvements, gameplay, sound, customization options, or any other things you feel would make the game even more awesome. We'd like to hear it. Your thoughts and feedback are incredibly important, and we read every single feedback thread you've posted here on Discord and on all other channels you've taken time to post on, and we can't thank you enough. We would like to caveat that this thread isn't to create a shopping list of future improvements. It's to see where the community's thoughts are on various facets of the game. So feel free to share your ideas." Also, I'm not going to read the names of the Reddit post, as I would just horribly mispronounce it anyways. I'll leave it to you guys to read the names for yourself. Anyways, I'll just get into their comments. This person is saying, "Unit selection panel to be able to quickly deselect units." I never had a problem myself personally with deselecting units, so I would be fine either way with this. I don't think this is something that would negatively impact the game necessarily, but again, always leave it to the professionals to know how this would affect the game and all that. But I can't see how that would be a bad thing necessarily, so I'm fine with that. Also, I'm going to probably just skip over most of the replies to the initial comments, as I don't want to go down any rabbit holes really in that regard. So next up, this person here says, "Pathing units have a hard time going through gaps. Units have a bad time going through edges, and they just get stuck there instead of rerouting properly." I think I mostly agree with that. Yeah, unit pathing is a bit clunky sometimes, especially for the melee units, and also the bigger and bulkier the unit is, the harder time they have. So, in my opinion, it just kind of, it would not only be a good quality of life change, I think, it'd be one less thing for you to have to worry about and have to try to micromanage. The problem is when all these units are getting stuck somewhere, then you got to try to select the single individual unit that's having a problem, or the small group of them that are having a problem, and try to move them around and whatnot, get them where you want them to go. The thing is that just leaves a heavy bias to the units that don't have that problem. The easier the unit is to use and play, the better it is going to be at default. So it just has an unfair bias to the easier units. So I just think that's unnecessary, and is something that I would definitely like to see changed. So next up, we have unit selection. Individual unit selection feels scuffed in this game somehow. I don't know the exact reason, but I have a lot more trouble selecting individual units in this game compared to StarCraft 2. This and lack of selected units screen makes it so that the unit selection feels really bad. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I didn't feel I had too big of a problem with this or anything, but I definitely felt that at certain times, and so I think that would be nice if they were able to improve on that. I'd be down for that. And I think having like some kind of unit selection screen possibly, or something like that, might be nice as well. I think overall that would be pretty good. Color, need to have color setting for player, ally, enemy, and also ability to customize minimap color accordingly. The color contrast between selected units and other things on the map is too small. White versus yellow, green. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with this at all. This is something that I never really noticed, so I don't think I could really say one way or another, but I am usually always for customization to be added. So if that's all it is, that's fine by me. So overall, for me personally, it's not too big a deal. Ranked system, at the very least, needs an unranked system that roughly mirrors your main MMR to try deck combinations. Also, having to grind up starting from iron is absolutely horrid. Needs to have placements, please. This is an interesting one. I kind of like this idea. I kind of agree with some of it here, but you know, in terms of having an unranked system, I think that would be fine. That'd be interesting. However, I think I would personally be okay with just having a practice mode, maybe against a some kind of AI opponent, and it wouldn't really matter to me, honestly, how strong the AI opponent was. I really just want to be able to get in there with some new units to try out the new unit and kind of get a feel for it, what it's capable of doing. You know, how quickly is it killing certain other enemy units? How quickly does it deal damage to, you know, enemy workers or a resource base or their core base? You know, just to have a, you know, practice mode kind of, so that you can kind of get used to some of that, and as well as different deck combinations. I think would be fine just to have a place to be able to test that out. So I like that idea. And then grinding up from iron, I don't think is too big a deal if you were to implement a boosting system. So in a lot of other games that I've played, when you're grinding through ranks, if you are clearly better than the rank you're currently in, if you're doing really well and dominating, and then, you know, going on big winning streaks or something, oftentimes in these other games that I've played, they will have a boosting system so that you climb out of that rank faster and get to where you're supposed to be. So, for example, you know, I was able to make it to top ace, and so if I were to play the game again starting from iron, assuming everybody's at the same skill level, I think it would be okay if I started in iron if they just were to boost me out of there as quickly as possible with some kind of boosting system. Again, I don't know like the specifics on this, so that would be up to, you know, the professionals, the developers, to figure out how that would work. But I think I'd be okay with that, something like that, or a placement system I think would work fine as well. So it just depends on what route they would want to take, I guess. But I definitely think being able to get through out of that, out of those lower ranks if you're supposed to be higher, would be more beneficial to everybody, I think. So. I do kind of like that idea. Next, we have the Focus Fire. Focus Fire feels weird, but I don't know if it's by design. I have certain units, Focus Fire X, but after one volley, it seems to retarget onto Y, even though X is still alive. Honestly, I feel like I might have had some trouble with this every once in a while, but I don't know. I didn't really test it all that well or anything, and I didn't really pay that close of attention to notice that. So, you know, if that's definitely a problem, then, you know, I'm hoping they'll be able to look at that and fix that if it is an issue. So I'm sure they will be able to look into that. So big air units related to pathing, maybe, but big air units feel so unwieldy in this game. They're not being able to fly over turrets and structures. Not being able to fly over terrain feels forced and unintuitive, and also synergizes negatively with clunky pathing. So yeah, I definitely felt this with pretty much all big clunky units. You know, even if it was something like the heavy ballista or the behemoth, or even the big air units as well with the cat bus and the bulwark. I definitely felt like they were just too clunky, and hopefully that can kind of be smoothed out over time, and I think they'll be able to do that. So I wouldn't say that's something that I'm really concerned about or anything. I feel like that's something that'll kind of work itself out over time. So. And then camera hotkeys, needs F2, F4 camera hotkeys. I'm not sure exactly what that means, if it's a different camera angle maybe, or maybe it's different zoom levels. And yeah, I'd be happy with that. Any kind of customization, again, I'm normally pretty happy for that, to see any kind of customization. So I would like to see some different zoom levels. I think that would be nice, and being able to even zoom in onto certain units and onto the battlefield would be kind of cool. Not something that I would really want to use all that often, but they did such a great job with the artwork of this game and the animations of all the different units and everything. So I think it would be cool to be able to zoom in and get a closer look at all that in the middle of a battle and stuff. But also, I think even zooming out would be a little better for some bigger fights and whatnot. So I think it would be cool to have some options for zooming. Anyways, let's go on to this one here. Camera hotkeys. Yeah, I think that's probably meaning kind of the same thing as the one before. So single and double clicking units doesn't feel consistent to me. I think StarCraft 2's unit clicking is quite polished. Yeah, I wouldn't really know. Yeah, I really wouldn't know too much about StarCraft. I never played it or anything. So, and single and double clicking units seemed okay to me. I guess there were maybe a few times that felt a little wonky, but you know, I'm not sure if that was user error or not. So again, leave that to the professionals to figure that out. So it would be nice to hit escape to deselect all. Yeah, again, I didn't have any problems deselecting units, so but I think having an option like that would be fine. So no worries there. Potentially being able to view opponent's deck during the countdown before the game officially starts. I think that would be a great change, actually. I really like that idea. I do kind of feel that the first, I think it's like 5 seconds, right, of starting up the game or whatever, would be nice to be able to look at the unit decks, so you can kind of start figuring out a strategy. Like 5 seconds really isn't that big a deal, I don't think. It's not too long or anything, so I think something like that would be nice. That'd be cool. Spectator UI, show player names and deck more passively compared to an active player's UI. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Again, going back to customization, I think any bit of customization they can add to the game would be great overall, for the most part. And so, especially with Spectator UI, I think that'd be awesome to be able to maybe even have it on a toggle, have the different unit decks on different toggles or something, and then being able to move and position them somewhere, maybe even adjust the size of them and whatnot too. So I think all that would be very cool. And then a replay system with public-private settings. There's a lot of great AoE4 content due to the ability of viewing other players' replays easily, which enables content creators to cast games consistently and keeps people engaged with the game. Yeah, that'd be awesome. I would love to be able to jump into a game replay of anybody and kind of see what they're doing. And then like they were saying, maybe having some public and private settings as well, so you're not just able to do that for anybody at any time. I think that'd be cool though. I would love to be able to even go into my own replays and kind of figure out, what was I doing there? What was my mindset there? And then what was my opponent doing as well? It'd be cool to be able to see it from their perspective as well, and figure out, what was going through their head. Figure out from their point of view, what was their plan maybe, or what were they kind of working on and going towards, and how were they maneuvering their units and army and whatnot. So, and honestly, I think this is something that they'll probably be working on at some point. I don't have any kind of insider information at all, but I think they want this game to be pretty like esport friendly, and so I think that's definitely something that they will work on at some point, hopefully sooner rather than later. But next one here, more flexibility to configure the hotkeys. For example, switch the functionalities from Shift and Control when creating or adding units to control groups. Another example is people want to remap the hotkeys to the middle or left side of the keyboards. Yeah, I think definitely 2 thumbs up there. Again, any kind of customization that they could add to this game, I think would be a plus for me at least. And I'd love to be able to customize everything to whatever feels the most comfortable to me. So I would love to see something like that. And then, I'd also love to see some more options for different control group settings. I'm someone who hasn't really used control groups all that much, and so that's something I would like to try to use more. However, I felt the current system that they had wasn't quite good enough for me, at least. So I would love to see some more options in that regard as well. And then chat wheel functionality. That way you can communicate a bit with your opponent or partner in 2v2 with some predefined text, like in Dota 2. That way you will be able to communicate better without giving space to toxic chat. I think something like that would be fine. However, I don't really think it's all that important or necessary to be able to communicate with your opponent, even if it is just a text wheel chat thing or something. I feel like that would still kind of give way to toxicity or just spamming or trolling or something with that. So not that it would be too big a deal. But, other than like saying GG, to me, like even saying GG at the end of a game isn't too big a deal. I kind of still do it out of habit, but it doesn't bother me at all if my opponent doesn't say GG to me in return for, some other games that I've played. That's never been an issue or problem for me. So I don't really care too much either way, but definitely having a system in place for your 2v2 partner, I think would be very good and beneficial. I never played any of the 2v2s, but I'm definitely excited to give it a try. It looks like a ton of fun. And especially having some kind of ping system, I think would be the best, so that you're able to communicate a little bit with your teammates. So I think that would be very good. I gotta read this one. This is what I was going to suggest. As someone who occasionally suffers from getting old syndrome, yes, I unfortunately suffer from that syndrome as well. In the wrists and hands, I would love to be able to change all the hotkeys. Traditional RTS control grouping systems put a lot of work on the pinky finger and constrain the hand and wrist. Being able to alleviate the issue without resorting to outside programs would be nice. So definitely agree there, so I'll leave it at that. Tab to switch between unit types in a selection, used it all the time in other RTSs. That sounds cool. Again, it's just another option for customization, so yeah, I'd be fine with that. X StarCraft 2 GM here. Ooh, all right. Love the beta, but it still feels like a beta. I would add these things if I could. Minimap needs a frame to not click it accidentally when microing. I never really had a problem with that, as far as I can remember. Maybe 1 or 2 times where I accidentally clicked on it, but yeah, again, something that I think would be fine, but not something that I'm really worried about or concerned about. I was thinking a dedicated static defense card might be a great addition to the deck. Probably cost strength around tier 1.5 to hold most all-ins. Slow units like destroyers can still wreck them, but those cross the map slowly, which encourages longer games, and there are 4 more units to be used. Yeah, so I'd be fine with trying something like this. I don't think this is necessary really, but I'd be down to try different things like this. So again, this would be something that's very much in the developers' hands to decide if this is something that they would want to try even, and if it's kind of the direction that they would want to go. So yeah, something that again I don't think would be necessary. So I'll leave it to them to figure that one out. Snowballing off of harass with a faster army composition seems to have no counter in some unit combinations. I think faster worker cooldown or a possibility to buy back workers, pay per plate, could maybe fix this, forcing more macro-oriented games. Another alternative I've thought of could be a defensive mode for worker plates, kind of like StarCraft 2, supply depots, where the workers would take less damage but mine less when activated, giving extra time, if microed properly, to defend harassment, which otherwise wipes all the workers in 3 seconds. So I think this is actually a really cool idea. I like this for the most part. I don't necessarily think it's necessary again, but I think it would be interesting to try something like this. I did find that I don't like the extremes too much. When you get to something like the Wasp and the Hornet and the Stinger and whatnot, the units with the 5 speed, to me, seems just a little too extreme. I would like to see them bring the speed of those units down just a little bit. And then also the extremely slow units too, something like the Recalls or whatever, I would like to see them get just a little bit of a speed boost. So overall, I don't feel like these units are, too strong or too weak or anything like that. I just find it more of an annoyance, a personal annoyance to me, more than anything really. So I don't have too many problems with it overall, but I think that's the best way I can kind of put it or say it. Something like this I think would be interesting though, so I wouldn't mind seeing them do something like that. Maps. The beta map seems like the steppes of war of this game. All ins with fast tier 2 units seems really unforgiving to defend in general because of how unit quality scales on small maps. Honestly, I don't feel like the map favored the smaller, faster units overall that much. Maybe it did. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I thought the map was fine. I would definitely be very happy to see more maps. I would love to play on different maps and try different things. But I didn't think the map necessarily favored one particular unit or type of unit over another. So I think it was fine in that regard. But I definitely would like to see more maps for sure. Target firing needs to be turned on by default, I think. Yeah, honestly, I can't remember if it was on by default or not. So yeah, I would mostly agree with that. A replay system and a spectating overlay, including supply resources, unit composition, tech icons, to prepare the game for tournament play would be awesome. Yeah, again, I agree with that. Would love to see that, and it's something that I feel like they will be working on it at some point at least. So more anti-air options, which can also trade up versus certain ground units only. Currently, it feels like some ground units have rock, paper, scissors interactions, and with limited deck space, you can't really leave a potential counter out to include the current AA options, which kills creativity in how well constructed decks play out, as usually they need to only tech reactively, leading to a game of tech chicken while ahead, which seems counterintuitive. So I do kind of agree with this here. Definitely felt like a lot of games would resort to sort of a tech chicken, depending on the types of decks that everybody was running. And this is a potential problem I could see going forward in the game as well. So, and I don't think this is going to be too big of a problem going forward, but it is something that can be an issue a little bit every once in a while, I think. And so I think there's plenty of ways to for them to work around this and to kind of smooth this over a bit. And I think they'll do that. I think they'll be fine in that regard. So again, not something I'm worried about, but definitely I think is something to keep an eye on. I wouldn't want that to become the main meta going forward. So I think that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys again so much for joining me. There have been a lot of great comments here, a lot of good feedback, and I think the devs are going to have a lot of awesome stuff to look through, sift through, and to digest. And so I hope this all is coming together very nicely for them, and I hope this helps all of us to get the best possible game that we can hope for going forward. So I have a lot of confidence in this team to bring that about and make that happen. I am super excited and can't wait for this game to come back. So definitely check this out again, guys. If you would like to share some of your thoughts and opinions, I would love to see that as well in the comments below. But also, please respond and reply to this post as well with any thoughts or opinions you might have. Also, if you enjoyed this one, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'd very much appreciate that. And I'll see you guys again soon in the next one.